Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Miscellaneous Gab. Today we'll be discussing Dune Prophecy episode 4. You may be wondering, yesterday you were in a fur coat, before you had the eyes of a bod. What's going on today? Well, today I'm a princess, at least my version of a princess, because my personal least favorite part of Dune Prophecy is the princess. So I've decided to replace her. So I was going to skip ahead right into episode 5, but I realized that episode 4 is really important to talk about. I actually didn't like it when I was halfway through it on the first watch. And then once we got to the end, once I thought about it, once I watched it again, I'm like, okay, Dune is so back, baby. So what happened? What do you need to know? Let's get into it. Before I begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified for when I review episode 5 and 6, as well as check out my Dune playlist for all sorts of other great Dune analysis, book analysis, movie analysis reviews. Episode 4 is called Twice Born. The point of this title here is back to when Lila was undergoing the agony and she had that vision with Mother Dorothea talking through her. The reckoning will be twice born, one in blood, one in spice. We're led to believe this is Desmond Hart is the reckoning, but also Lila is reborn in spice in this episode as well. Love what the showrunners are doing in terms of who do these like bright light eyes belong to? Who is the reckoning? Is it as forward in the future as Leto II, or could it be Desmond Hart is this reckoning, or Lila? This episode begins with the sound of thumping, which is used to attract sandworms. We then see Sister Emmeline, who is occupying a more and more important role in a sort of dream state. It's very strange, it's very confusing. She ends up facing herself, about to off herself straight Mother Dorothea style, through Jen, who's one of the other prominent acolytes, that a lot of these sisters are having the same dream. Jen, oddly enough, is the only one who isn't having the dream. This is very much giving dreams are messages from the deep, which was the opening Sardaukar mouth gurgling noise in the first Dune movie. The scenes where Valia is meeting with her family, with the Harkonnen. We have her great uncle who's played by Mark Addy, and I think he's absolutely brilliant in this. If you close your eyes and just listen, he sounds just like Robert Baratheon, who he also played. Really get the sense of her biting the bullet. The fact that she offers to be the personal truthsayer for House Harkonnen, who has been so long denied any truthsayer, much less the Mother Superior. Then we have this breakfast amongst the royal family. I love the scenery. I mentioned before that we do really feel like we're in the belly of a whale. As we saw on Langkival, these whales are enormous woolly whales. I've drawn the parallel between Desmond Hart and Jonah and the whale in the Bible, that story of him being swallowed by a whale. That's what brought Jonah to salvation, to God, and we see something similar here with Desmond Hart being swallowed by a sandworm. But love how their nice bougie family breakfast takes place in this like whale stomach. Princess Yanez is dissatisfied with what's going on, that they're harboring this accused murderer of her prince, as well as maybe the reason why she can't go off to the Bene Gesserit. Now, this is like why I'm the princess right now. I do not like her character. I don't like her plotline. For someone who has been coached and trained in the Bene Gesserit ways her whole life to be shaped to be this princess that's supposed to come to the Bene Gesserit, you couldn't tell, like, at all. Then we get several club scenes with the rebels. We meet an Ixian that is importing this Ixian technology, forbidden technology, thinking machine, and that the rebels plan to basically set off advanced technology that can instantly murk everyone in the room. Their goal is to do this when the Landsrat, the great noble houses, are together as a way of turning up the rebellion. Get to the scene with Mother Valia, who is recording a note to Tula that she then deletes. She is very vulnerable here. She's haunted by her past, being around her Harkonnen relatives, seeing that portrait of her brother Griffin. She also references a dream that she has as well. There are all these dreams, these feelings of foreboding, these sinister sinister shadows that are coming that one can't quite grasp what they are. Now, this is really Dune core, which is that something bad is going to happen. You don't know exactly what it is, but you can sense it, you can feel it. If you read the Dune books, this feeling is so central to Dune, and that's why I'm happy about this episode. She also talks to Theodosia, her protege, if you will. They understand the plot that is about to be taken place. In order for Valia to stop the assassination plot, save the Emperor, and get back into his good graces, she has to single-handedly stop this super dangerous thinking machine from vanquishing everyone. And how's she gonna do that? Sheer marksmanship, baby. She's been practicing. She's been going to a lot of dive bars, a lot of clubs there on Seleucia Secundus. I like what she says to Theodosia about how you must take time to understand your enemy. Valia's character is really rounding out here. She's haunted, she's vulnerable, she's scared, but she is probably the most still Bene Gesserit, still OG Bene Gesserit of the Bene Gesserit. Then we start to see this plots within plots dynamic that is going on. Now, again, this is so central to Dune core, where there's some sort of inciting incident, inciting circumstance, and then it's all about who can exploit it and milk it to their ways. This rumor, right, that the Emperor is harboring the man who murdered Pruitt Rechesi, we learn later that it's actually the Empress who planted this rumor. The Emperor's wife planted the rumor, and then the Sisterhood find out about the rumor and think, okay, how can we use this to our advantage? So we have the rebel plot that's going on that we know about because we basically started the rebel plot. Now the truthsayers start to whisper into the ear of their great noble lords, hey, you know, this rumor is going on and someone needs to call out the Emperor because they can't have this kind of power. But, you know, it can't be you because the risks outweigh the benefits. If there's nothing to see here, then you'll be called a traitor. Why not choose a lesser house with actually more to gain than to lose? And that brings them to House Harkonnen, who has for so long, they're the losers of the war with the great machines, have been squabbling for a seat at the table. And that opportunity is what Valia so masterfully creates. And that is what I love about Dune. That's one thing that the Dune movies just didn't have the time or the space for, is the politicking. Everyone has their own agenda. And what I love, the actor who played the Baron Harkonnen said in the inside the episode is basically like, I know she's using me, but how can I use her? But I really loved that montage of the truthsayers working their business. They're so loyal to the sisterhood, so it's really about the sisterhood. Then we get to this drawing scene with the sisters. Now, I didn't like this at first, I'm not going to lie, and I still have some mixed feelings about it. So two prominent acolytes that I would like to point out are Jen, who didn't have the dreams and who abstains from this activity. We don't know what her secret is. Also have Sister Emmeline, who is probably the most religious, I guess you could say. Now, important to know a bit about her backstory. So she was raised by anti-technology Butlerians. She's probably one of the most deeply religious members of the sisterhood and also the most anti-technology. So you might imagine who would probably be the most pissed off to find a secret room full of AI and forbidden technology? Probably her. So then we have the Bene Gesserit coloring scene where Mother Tula gives them some spice to not only awaken their prescience, but kind of to put them in this trance. They start with these disturbing scenes that are unique to them, but then quickly morph into this collective vision. They depict scenes from Arrakis, sand dunes, sandworms, the mouth of a sandworm that was previously thought to be a well as this black picture with these blue eyes. The blue eyes appear a few different times throughout this episode. Mother Tula is shook. She feels like she's in control until she realizes she's not. The blue eyes, many people think could be Paul in the future, or more likely Leto Jr. Even Sister Emmeline said the eyes of God, if we think God Emperor. However, the blue is actually more prominent within the technology versus the eyes. A few people here have the eyes of Ibad, Desmond Hart, Lila when she awakens, but the bright blue eyes almost feel as bright as the technology in the AI room, as well as those small pieces of technology. I do think this is another instance where we don't know exactly what it means, and we can only wait to find out. Is this a hint at this threat that will come so far into the future in the form of Leto Jr., or is it more with the technology that is still looming over them? That technology, the very power that the Bene Gesserit have, will be the key to their undoing. At the end, Mother Tula talks to the other mother, whose name I always forget, about fear, and stupidly is like, yeah, let's keep talking about the fear and give them answers. And then they're like, wait, no, fear bad. In my opinion, they're setting this up to create the litany against fear. Fear is the mind killer. I must not fear. To me, this feels more fan servicey than anything. We don't know what the Bene Gesserit are currently, so we can't really say what they are not, right? It's easy to look at the Bene Gesserit 10,000 years in the future, where Jessica is literally capable of calming herself down when she's buried in like 20 feet of sand and not panicking. Origin story of the Bene Gesserit. Maybe this is how they learn that fear equals bad. But at this point, if they are learning prana bindu breathing and truth sense, undergoing the agony, that you'd think that they'd at least have this figured out. Hey, maybe we should control our emotions. Fear is a very dangerous emotion. We should control it. Then we have a little scene with the Empress and Desmond Hart. I got major Rasputin vibes here in history with the royal family, the last royal family of Russia, how Rasputin was an unhinged religious fanatic who had the ear of the Tsarina of Alexandria, and was able to actually cause so much damage and strife within the royal family because of the power he held. And he was known as this crazy monk. I do see a lot of parallels. Rather than him whispering into the ear of the Empress, it's really her whispering into his ear. We need a show of strength more than anything. This pushing from the Empress actually causes Desmond to go out, tell his soldiers to round up people known for selling or purchasing forbidden technology, which basically gives him the ace up his sleeve in the council scene. Princess Yanez goes to the club, and she's very prompted to do something, to make a stand. Herein Atreides is like, man, I really can't have you here because I'm trying to choose duty over love. I am basically planning to blow up your family, so this is a weird conflict of interest that I need to pretend doesn't exist. She ends up talking to her brother like, hey, let's confront the family and really ambush them and blow up their secret here and force their hand. Who are these spoiled brat ass kids? You have not even trained Constantine to like, hey, watch out on a woman seducing you to try to extract information from you. Hey, princess, maybe like get your shit together a little bit, control your emotions. I guess they missed that class of how to be a royal heir and not screw everything up. Again, that's why I'm the princess today, because Princess Yanez is canceled. We have this small scene with Theodosia and Mother Valia where Theodosia hints at a secret power she might have that she swore she wouldn't do again. What could that be? Then we get to the great council scene, which is the climax of this episode. Now we have Baron Harkonnen, who is going to go up and challenge the Emperor. He did such a fantastic job being nervous, but also, this is my shot. I'm not throwing away my shot. This is my time to go. Noble lords are sort of goading him like, yeah, man, you got this. This is how you get into our club, basically making him do their dirty work while they'll still reap the benefits, where it's all about the conversation, the small movements, the agenda. So we have Kieran Atreides, who is supposed to be planting this device until he sees Princess Yanez is there, and then he kind of freezes. Then we have Mother Valia, who wants not only to elevate House Harkonnen, call out the Emperor, force the Emperor's hand a bit, put him into an oh shit position, but then she wants to turn around and freaking dartboard the technology crawler and save his life. Also have the Empress, who really wants to take things up a notch to show a show of force, of strength. Princess Yanez, who wants to screw over her family, take the moral high ground. One thing all of these plots have in common, very covert, and they're converging until this mother effer right here enters the room. He throws every everything up into the air. Princess Yanez bursts into the room and Desmond comes in and is like, it wasn't murder, it was execution. He was harboring the very technology that we fought a war 150 years ago to outlaw. Speaking of this technology, you all were supposed to be dead today. If it weren't for me finding these fugitives, you should be happy that we have such a strict no tech policy here at the castle, because if not, y'all would be gone. He is so unhinged in this scene. He is so different from any time we've seen him before. He's speaking differently, his tone is different, a mad dog let off the leash. He works his magic, burns the people who were going to carry out the plot, the rebels, as well as a couple other members. Everyone is recoiling and freaking out. I have to admire Mother Valia and just her badass MC energy, because she still finds an opportunity. Hey, I got some blood. Let's run this through our DNA sequencing machine to figure out who the F this guy is. She's able to remain calm and look for opportunities to work to her advantage in even life or death situations, because she didn't know if she was safe from him. No one knows what this power is, what it's capable of doing. Desmond Hart sees the vision of the sandworm as well as those eyes. Again, here they look just so glowy, they look so techy, but he has these scars all over his back. So it's very clear this is causing him immense pain to perform. I got very much stigmata vibes here, stigmata being the marks of the crucifixion, harm that Jesus had to undergo reappearing on his flesh. It feels very stigmata religious. And then the emperor seems to really care for him. Like, hey man, you can't do this again. It hurts you and I care about you. Back to Mother Tula, who has been quite shook this entire episode. She's scared. She sees this vision of her having to actually like slice open the throat of Sister Emmeline because Emmeline is calling her out. I'm very curious to understand her connection to Lila. Tula's love for Lila is actually quite motherly, and it makes me wonder if she did indeed get pregnant as a younger woman from Ori Atreides before she offed him, and perhaps she had to let that baby go or something happened to that baby. Perhaps she sees Lila or something about Lila reminds her of a child that she lost. Lila wakes up and comes to Tula. She's very confused. She has the eyes of Ibad. I expected when she awoke to be kind of in that like demon-esque Mother Dorothea voice, but she does appear to be a frightened child. She's very overwhelmed with the technology around her, with all the lights. We still don't know if she will be a weapon, if she's back to being Lila. She is technically born twice. She has been reborn as well through spice. Then the final scene is with Mother Valia. She confronts her great uncle, who's being very Robert Baratheon towards her. She's probably the most emotional that she's been here, very angry. It's clear that getting closer to her home sets her off. It triggers her a little bit. And you see this, it's not even a calculation. It's not premeditated. She looks at her uncle who's on the ground, and then his inhaler, his breathing machine, and is like, what if I killed him? Or what if I allowed him to die in my presence and did not save him? Then, what crazy? She sees her brother come back to life, or seemingly. She sees an apparition of her brother. She's overcome with emotion. She doesn't even stop to be like, well, what the hell? The brother looks at her and says, I understand now. I see the sacrifice that you have done. I will make the sacrifice too. She says, thank you, Theo, because Theodosia, drumroll, is a face dancer. And we get confirmation with this in the inside the episode after the show. This is very beginning Benny Tlaylac face dancer technology, which becomes way more advanced. So what are face dancers? They're technically these hermaphroditic beings engineered by the Benny Tlaylacs. They're creative. The most famous face dancer in the Dune books is Scytale. You can watch my Dune Messiah video to learn more about him and his tomfoolery and his importance to Dune Messiah. They are capable of changing their gender, age, appearance, their tone of voice. Whatever's going on with Theo is very early in the face dancer technology, because 10,000 years in the future, face dancers are tools, they're weapons. The Bene Tleilax have always been kind of hated. They gross people out because of what they do to human flesh, bioengineering. Some people think it's unnatural. They become less human. They're thought to operate more in like a hive mind, but Sister Theo really feels quite human and normal, only she has this crazy weird power. She was taken in by the Bene Tleilax as a young girl, perhaps an orphan, and then engineered upon and sort of let go. And that's how she came into the sisterhood. We don't know much about her past. Hopefully we will learn more. I'm very curious and hoping we will learn more about the Bene Tleilax and Theo's origin story. But one thing I want to draw your attention to is how painful it is for Theodosia to morph. This was something that Theodosia swore she would never do, but essentially now, by just appearing as Griffin to comfort Valia, she's basically saying, hey, you're a badass, I got you, I want to do whatever it takes. Face dancers are used to be spies. They're used to impersonate people and gain access. Her appearing as Griffin is a symbolic gesture to say, I will keep doing this. Now, I find it so fascinating right now that both Mother Valia and the Emperor have these people under them who do their bidding at extreme pain to them. Desmond Hart can burn people alive and get scars all over his back, feel this pain, bleed, it can almost kill him. Theodosia might be a great weapon and asset to the Bene Gesserit at great personal pain. So I am so excited for episode 5. What did you think of episode 4? What are your predictions? Let me know in the comments. Do you think I should stay a princess, or shall I return to my Bene Gesserit Mother Superior ways? Have a great day. Stay healthy. Stay safe out there. Until next time, bye.